What's up guys, it's Austin and welcome to today's video. This story time is very serious. Probably more serious than any paranormal story time I've ever told in my life. Yes, I have witnessed a possession before at the Witch's Fort in person. This one, as you can tell by the title, is much worse because it was my best friend and it hit me on a personal level. I cried for 2 days on and off every time I thought about it. It's terrible. This is one of the reasons why I haven't been posting for a month. So to give you guys some backstory, I have talked about my friend Hayden and his haunting when he got the poltergeist activity around a month and a half ago. So this was middle of May. We had the door opening and closing in his room on video call. I got it on camera. And if you want to check out those videos, here are the thumbnails. You can go check them out. You can go find them. If you just want to find the playlist, this video will be in there too because it's part of this story. It's called Poltergeist Video Calls. You can just go to the channel's playlist. Anyway, so now that I got the backstory out of the way, yes, so we were communicating with this thing for a very long time over the period of, I would say, 2 weeks straight, almost every day. There was a period where we didn't communicate with this demon for a week. So just to kind of recap you guys on this, every time we would ask the demon to open the door for no and close it for yes for our questions, it would do it every time. There was no draft, there was no AC running, nothing was moving that door. There was no possible way or any physical way that that door could move. And not to mention, it would move and throw other objects in the room. I didn't ever get that on camera, unfortunately. It did that off camera. I didn't want to film it 20 times because I thought it was just going to do the same shit, but it didn't. So 2 weeks goes by. It's June 1st at 3 a.m. in the morning, roughly around 3 a.m. time. Devil's hour, the witching hour, when demonic energy is at its highest point. We never expected this to happen. I never expected this to happen. And now Hayden doesn't want to do anything paranormal because of this happening. This is where we get into the possession. We're talking to the demon. It's opening and closing the door to our questions. At some point, it gets so aggressive that we stop. Hayden starts to feel weird. He's just like, bro, I kind of feel a little weird right now. And then he sits down in his chair. I'm trying to watch videos and stuff after we were done talking to it. He's sitting there, and then just out of curiosity, I go back to Discord and I was about to tell him something. A few minutes later, he closes his eyes, and when he opens them, it was so weird the way he did it. It was and he's glaring at me. It was really creepy. I'm just thinking, okay, he's pulling a prank right now. This is a joke. There's no way that this is real. He's staring at me like that to creep me out, making me think that he's taken over by a demon or something. That wasn't the case. So then I started looking at scary music for my videos and all that stuff. Started listening for stuff, and he starts talking, but he's talking in a language that he's never spoken before ever and doesn't even know at all. When you get possessed, you're gonna do things that you don't normally do. Some people have reported people having inhuman strength, which is a thing. They'll have more strength than normal because this thing is literally taking over your body. They will say things in different languages that they've never spoken before in their life. I do know that it was in Spanish, and I'll get into that later. He's saying this phrase over and over again. I'm thinking this is a prank. He's trying to creep me out. So I just don't even buy into it. And I'm still looking at music, and I'm playing this creepy music that I'm gonna probably put in my videos in the future. It sounds really creepy with him talking like this in the background because he's saying this phrase over and over and over again. I go back to the call, I'm just oh, this might actually be real. So he keeps on repeating this phrase. So after a minute or two of him saying this weird thing that he was saying, I had no clue what it was, he glares at me some more. He gets up out of his chair. He walks off camera for not even a second, comes back, and his mouth is bleeding on one side and his nostril is bleeding on the same side. And I'm just holy shit, there's no way he faked that. That was 1 second, not even. That was half a second he was off the camera. So I'm guessing when the demon was possessing him, it was trying to show me what it could do. And then he comes back on camera and I'm seeing this and I'm just what the is going on? I was scared for my friend. I'm just this is definitely real now. What the hell is going on? We never thought it would get to this point. So then I kind of go back to my music program because I figure he's just gonna snap out of it eventually. And I'm no, I should probably keep tabs on what he's doing. I go back to Discord, the video calling app, and he's lifting his head. And then all of a sudden he slams it down on his keyboard and on his desk. And he just kind of stays there like that. His head is just smashed against the keyboard. In the Discord chat, our little chat box thing, I can see the thing saying like, you know, Hayden is typing or whatever, and you know, but obviously it never sent. It was just his head being on the keyboard, and then he lifts his head up and completely snaps out of it. He's like, dude, what just happened? He's like so dazed, so confused, and he's just like, I must have just taken like a nap or something. He had no clue what happened. And this is what happens during possession. You're not going to remember a thing that's happened in the past who knows how long of that night or whenever it happened. I didn't even say a thing to him, because right after that he's just like, hey bro, I think I'm gonna go to bed, I'm feeling really tired. I'm like, okay. Me just saying okay, like really traumatized and stuff. I'm just like, okay. We hang up the call, and immediately the next day I'm just like, I have to tell him this is so important, like he needs to get rid of this thing, whatever it is. So I wake up the next day, it's like 10 in the morning or so. We call, well first what I did is I said in chat, I'm like, dude, we need to talk. Can we talk right now? And one of the things I said is like, please tell me what you did was a joke last night. I said that in chat, and he's like, what do you mean? I don't remember anything from last night, is what he's typing to me. So we get on a call, and he's like, dude, what happened last night? The first thing I said was, you need to bless that house. And I was almost crying, like my voice was shaky, and actually I was tearing up. I just wasn't like full on, you know, crying, you know what I mean? I was trying to hold it back as much as I could to try and explain to him what happened. I told him, I'm like, before I get into this, dude, please tell me how far you were gonna take this joke. He's just like, what do you mean? And I'm just like, dude, you got possessed. He's just like, are you being for real right now? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what happened? And then I told him everything. I told him everything that happened. And he's just like, dude, that's crazy. And I can tell you're telling the truth because you sound like you're about to cry right now. I'm like, yeah, like you need to get a priest in that house and bless it ASAP, like right now. We're calling for the rest of the day, and I am just completely on edge on call with him because I'm just like, is something gonna happen? Are we okay until tomorrow? Like, please tell me he's not gonna get possessed again. Well, guess what? Dinner time rolls around. It's 7 o'clock. I'm making noodles. I'm making dinner for myself. We're talking and stuff, and then immediately he just like kind of goes quiet. And then I notice he's glaring at the camera again. I'm just like, oh no, it's happening again. He's possessed again. It took over him again. I was just done with this at this point. I watched a little bit to see what was gonna happen, and he did some different things. Like he grabbed the camera and went like he would shake it. I'm guessing it was a scare tactic that the demon was trying to do to freak me out, like glare at me and move the camera and be like, hey, look what I can do. And then eventually he throws the camera down on the desk, or just puts it down like really hard. He picks it up, puts it back on the computer, and he's still glaring at me and staring at me. I can't take this shit anymore. So I turn off the call. I was that done with it. I'm just like, I can't watch this. This is terrifying. This is traumatizing as And I didn't talk to him for the rest of the night, not because I hated him or anything or because he did anything wrong, but I didn't talk to him for the rest of the night. I was too scared. I'm just like, I can't video call him. This sucks. I was completely hopeless until they got the priest the next day. Anyway, once I hung up the call, I should probably include this, he's just like, bro, did you just end the call? And I'm like, yeah. He's just like, did I fall asleep again? He keeps on thinking that he's falling asleep during these episodes of possession. No, you did that weird thing again. He's like, the glaring thing? I'm like, yeah, you did. It wasn't as bad as last time, but like, yeah, he did do that again. Anyways, now it's day 2, the day of the priest coming in and blessing the house. Hayden didn't tell me too much about this, but he did tell me what was going on briefly, like very vaguely. So the priest comes in, he's blessing the house, and he was there for an hour, and he could feel the vibes in that house. He's just like, yeah, there is something really pissed off in this house. Well, I'm sure the priest didn't say it like that, but whatever was there was insanely angry and aggressive, and he was very right, it was aggressive. And Hayden told me that he got the holy water. This goes back to the whole door moving thing. In his room when we were asking it questions the one time, or should I say the past couple times, the priest flicks holy water on the door, and Hayden said that it started steaming. This weird like steam was coming off the door, and this priest is saying the prayers and saying the prayers, and he said at one point that when he was reading the Bible, the pages started flipping by themselves, and there was no wind around at all. And the priest was like, it's trying to stop me from saying these prayers, but luckily I know them by heart, because the priest actually had to prepare himself the night before he was gonna cleanse Hayden's house, if that's not insane enough. So I guess that's what priests do. They prepare themselves the day before, or probably even a week before, depending when you call. But this was so serious that this priest came in the very next day, like early afternoon or something like that. Anyway, the pages are flipping in the Bible, but he's just like, it's trying to make me stop, it's trying to make me not get rid of it, but I know this off by heart, I know these verses. He clears the demonic attachments out of the room, And the reason I say attachments is because there was two. There was two demons attached to him. Not just one like we were thinking, there was two. And then he turns to Hayden. I should probably bless you too just in case because it's attached to him. The thing with demonic activity, it's attached to the person, not the house. Wherever he goes, it's gonna go. Doesn't matter if you move, doesn't matter about anything, it's going to follow. So he had to get rid of it off of Hayden. So he did like holy water on his forehead. I think he did like the cross thing that Catholics do. It was a Catholic priest that came in. And yeah, so he said prayers over Hayden and the energy was just gone. Also, at one point, Hayden told me that they went into the basement and the priest said that when they went into the basement, all the dark energy from these demonic spirits went straight to the basement. He's just like, okay, like we got to get rid of the stuff out of the basement. It moved to the basement. So they cleared out the basement's fine. I forgot to say what Hayden was saying when he was speaking in Spanish when the first possession started. He told me that next day when I told him about the possession and stuff, he's like, I had a really weird dream that I was saying something in a really weird language. And I'm just like, okay, well, what was it? He looked it up because it was in Spanish, and I think he said like this demon when it was in his dream, and I think the demon was telling him this or something, kept saying over and over like, we killed God, we killed God. So I went to look that up because I remember what it sounded like when Hayden was repeating this thing over and over and over again in Spanish. So I go on Google Translate and I type in we killed God and then translated it to Spanish to see what it sounded like. I click the voice thing to hear it and it sounded exactly what he said the night of the possession at 3 a.m., the first possession. So he was literally saying we killed God over and over and over again. I had no idea. I had no idea what he was saying. But yeah, the priest got rid of the haunting and everything has been good since. This is like a happily ever after kind of ending. Don't try to contact demons. They're real. That's the whole point of this video. Demons are real. They're more real than you think they are, and they can harm you. People that say spirits don't harm you or that demons don't harm you, they're lying. They do not know a thing about spirits if they're saying spirits never hurt you, including demonic ones. Demons don't give a shit about you. They don't care. They have no compassion for anybody but themselves. That is how they work. That is how they do things. There's no love there. But with that all being said, this video is over. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.